Welcome everybody to this fresh new episode of Pharoscion Global, promoting, supporting Vocal for Local, Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign started by Union Government of India. Today we have somebody very exciting with me, and we share same synergy. We have met recently. The stuff which this guy is actually doing is quite phenomenal, and I will be going gaga if I have to speak a lot about him. But in short, we have Gadget Guruz founder with us today. Mr. Prateek is with us, and he shall be sharing a lot of exciting stuff which he has done in the recent past, future of the company, and a lot of such details. So first of all, welcome on board, and let's begin with you enlightening us about yourself, Prateek, and let everybody know what the great stuff you guys are doing.
Thanks so much, Rishi. Great introduction, man, and I love your energy. And it was great meeting you recently as well. I look forward to meeting you again. So, a little bit about myself. I'm a technology buff. I'm come from a science background. I love computers. Love everything about technology and computers. Love to rip them apart, put them back together. That kind of a person, right? Got introduced to computers early on, 8th standard. Got my first computer, ripped it open in the third day that I got it.
Oh my God.
Got a handful of yelling from my mother for that, but it worked. Once I put it back together, it worked. That was the good part. And from there on, I was hooked. I never looked back look away from computers from that point on. So I have 16 years plus of experience in the IT field. And now I'm running this company, Gadget Guruz, which we started in 2020, August 2020.
We are very, inclined, or we are actually very excited to know about the backstory of Gadget's Guru, because I know that you guys are supporting, improving the natural total environment around you. You guys are helping building a safer, a more greener environment too. So enlighten me, what's the backstory of your company and how did you really start it?
Okay, so like I said, I have about 16 years of work experience in IT. So I worked with companies like Dell, Microsoft. So I knew in and about of what goes on in the IT industry, what are the challenges and pitfalls. But the idea for Gadget Gurus actually came from an incident that happened with my mother. I live in Delhi. My mom stays in Dehradun. And a little before COVID, a few months before COVID, an incident happened that I couldn't get in touch with my mother for a couple of days. Whenever I would call, it would go, the phone is not reachable and stuff like that. So I went paranoid about it. So I called up a cousin of mine who stays in Dehradun to drive up to mom's and find out what happened. Turns out that she dropped her phone and it broke. And since, being our mother's age, she did not have the knowledge or know-how to how to get it fixed, how to get it repaired and stuff. So at that point in time, in a haste, all I could do was order a new phone, get her a new phone, and get her back on. So we did that, and that kind of stuck with me. It gave me the point that it's not just me who is a kid who's sitting in a metro city and the parents are in a town, or in a village or somewhere. And it is a much broader problem. So if something happens to a device with the parents, we grew up with technology, so we take it very casually. It's very natural to us. To them, it's not that natural.
True that.
So it's right. So it started off with the idea that repairs should be easy for everyone, irrespective of your technical expertise. You should just be able to go up online, click a few buttons, and get somebody to service that. We are in the 21st century now. We're not in the 19th century anymore. There should be much more. So started researching on it. There are quite a few companies that are doing such things, but everyone has their own limitations. You can only serve a certain area around you. Even if you're a very, very big company, you can still only serve a certain radius around you. So to overcome that, we decided to do it as an aggregate platform, right? Okay. So that we're not cooking all the meals. We're just helping everyone cook more, that kind of thing. So now we have about 1,000 plus vendors all over India connected with us, which are repair shops and technicians, right? And what the platform does is that, you come online on the platform, you tell the problem, you can select the device, select the issue that you're facing, and based on your location on the pin code, it would connect you to the nearest repair shop that can actually fix that problem. Right. So it makes it so much more easier for the end user. So that's where it came from, and the background of the company. That's where it came from.
Yeah, and in a very short span of time, like these many stores or these many associates, let's say, it's quite a phenomenal job, I must say. And keeping in mind that the impact it can have at the latest stage, or maybe at the current stage as well, it's quite huge too. So if I have to talk about how much your life has changed, since you have started this business, and the impact which it has created, so how much it has changed personally for you?
180, total 180. So till the time it was a job, I was primarily working mostly in cybersecurity, dealing with overseas clients, right? On Zoom calls and meetings and stuff like that, and you're explaining things and you're fixing everything, you're fixing the code, erasing viruses and stuff like that. But yeah, it is, you have a defined job. You know that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is the problem. This is the solution. I have to just find the solution. That's about it.
Yeah.
So, but being an entrepreneur, everything is a problem, and you have to find everything's solution, right?
Absolutely.
So right. So there is no defined role. There is, you have to be omnipresent. You have to be everywhere.
True that.
And you have to think about the problems before they happen, and then come up with solutions that you might be valid.
Yeah.
So now I deal with a totally different market space. Most of my experience has been with US and UK markets, right? So and I deal with totally different marketplace, different set of clients. Yeah. So it has totally changed 180. Work schedule and everything totally changed.
I understand. Yeah. So, because the cause associated with this idea or the implementation as well is quite huge. So I must be asking you that, if you can talk about your CSR activities, which you guys are doing for a lot of people out there, and how does it really feel, once you achieve this or accomplish something, and you see that, okay, this particular act of our team has resulted into this. So, a bit on your CSR activities and how much it really have, how you have felt about it and how it had really impacted, if you can talk about on that front as well.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. It will be a two-part answer that I can get to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, so part one, that like I said, we started off as a repair aggregate platform, right? But as we worked through that, we realized that we're still solving half the problem. We're not solving the complete problem. We need to encompass. So then we got back to the drawing board kind of thing, and worked our way through to develop this into a circular economy platform. Now, circular economy being a term that is people are not yet so familiar with, that a one-stop solution wherein you can buy it, you can repair it, you can discard it in the end, right? Yeah. So any electronic, irrespective of the brand. So to create that trust with that customer, so we changed the whole platform into a circular economy platform. So that way we are reducing e-waste, we are reusing, recycling, right? These things immediately come into play, become inherent in the platform, right? In the design of the platform itself. And since from a customer standpoint, that it doesn't matter if I have a Dell laptop and an HP printer and a Samsung phone, it's just one brand. I have to buy it, I have to go there, it breaks, I have to go there, I'm done with it, I have to still go there. That's it. End of story. Right. So, so that way it becomes so much more easier for the end user to interact and trust the brand. So that was one, that we changed it from just a repair aggregate platform into a circular economy platform, putting in e-commerce into it and everything, right? And coming up with a few new innovations to make that happen actually. Another part is that what I learned on my way through, and
how does it really feel? Yeah.
So this is where it actually feels, this is where that part comes into play. I realized this was one incident wherein I saw that a client traded in. They sold their few laptops. One laptop was broken into two pieces. Right, when we got it was broken into two pieces, and it was beyond. I mean, even if we wanted to give some value to that client for that laptop, we could have probably given him 500,000 bucks, and it was not worth it to the client.
Yeah.
Right. So we asked the client that, would you just donate this laptop and let me see what we can do. Right. It just came up as that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So now took that laptop, fixed it at our own cost, and then decided that, okay, we will take this. This was the pilot. That's how exactly it happened. That we will donate this laptop first. We will not sell this now, right? Because it has come as a donation. We'll donate it further.
Yeah.
So I went about going and finding a few NGOs. The first time around, I found an NGO which was into child education, right? So took that laptop, gave it to the NGO. They took it to these kids, gave them the laptop, and this is the first time they were seeing a laptop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that moment when they got online on that laptop, when they played a song, right, a Bhojpuri song, right?
Okay.
And on YouTube, and that.
Do you remember which one was it, Prateek? Do you remember which one was it?
Unfortunately, I don't remember the lyrics or the words of the song, but yeah, I remember it was a Bhojpuri song. It was somewhere near Buland Shahar here in Delhi, right? Okay. But I was totally, that one moment was, I felt happier than being a millionaire at that point in time, because those 3, 4, 5 kids, they had never experienced something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we decided that, okay, this is something that we can do. So this is one of our major CSR activities now, that we are now officially tied up with this NGO called Yellow Street, which is from Delhi.
Okay.
Right. They're into child education for underprivileged kids. Right. So we are welcoming customers who have broken old 10, 12-year-old laptops, which they know that is worth nothing, or it's sitting in a drawer somewhere just collecting dust. Right. So the customer can donate it to us, right? And we will repair the laptop. Whatever is wrong with it, we'll fix it at our own cost, right? And we will donate it further. And we'll send a video to the customer, ensuring that they don't feel that we have fixed it and we are selling it in the market. We're not doing that. We're going to donate it further. We're going to donate it further, and they get a proof of that. The customer gets a proof of that. And they now know that that laptop that was sitting there collecting dust, or probably fetched them 1,000-2,000 rupees, that doesn't really matter, would now enable a child to get online, and who knows what that child might invent online.
Absolutely. And moreover, right. I feel that to the customer, Prateek, it must they must feel like, okay, my contribution has led to some great stuff, and eventually at the end, when who knows, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, the kid gets in touch with you that, Prateek, that laptop has changed my life completely for the positive. And then you letting the customer know, hey, you know what? Remember that trash for you? Now it has done such wonders. So that is like fantastic.
That would be amazing. I mean, looking forward to it. If that, one of our donors, he's been from, he was from Bangalore itself. Okay. And he sent us two laptops just for the same cause, right? So we have done small pilots of this, and now we are taking this to the next level, making it a completely streamlined system.
Yeah.
So your viewers, if somebody can, if somebody has a laptop sitting around, they can contact.
Absolutely.
We'll take care of it.
That's really good to know. So though there should be many, but let me ask you that one thing which makes you different from your competitors. And I don't want to name any of them, and I don't want to talk about them at the moment, but I would like to know, what is that one thing which is your USP and makes you pretty unique from rest of the players?
You mean me or the platform?
Particularly the platform. The Gadgets Guruz.
The platform.
Yeah.
So
we'll ask about you as well, Prateek. Don't worry about it. But let's talk about it first. Yeah.
So the platform. So it's not a Me Too platform, right? We are not trying to say that I am the best repair guy and I am the best circular economy platform in the world. We're not saying that, right? the competitors are great. There are a few, and some of them are doing a fantastic job, no doubt about that. But there are limitations to it. Right? You're not democratizing. Right? You're still holding it. You're holding your cards very close to your chest. Right? You're not democratizing.
Yeah.
So to democratize it is that you empower the technician, the end service provider, right? Like what Uber did for cab drivers.
Yeah.
Right. The end service provider. Right.
Yeah.
He was the one who was getting benefited.
True that.
So a similar thought process, that the technician is the one who's going to put in the work. Right. So he should get a little more benefited by it. That's fine. And we take away all the gray market, all the middlemen and everything, and eventually the cost of the consumer also comes down to a large extent, right? So these being the key things, and one very important part is that this you cannot do on any other platform apart from Gadget Guruz. That so if you go to the platform, you cannot. It's not that you will just go there and you will get one price. Right, one price point. That okay, you want to get an iPhone X repaired, screen is broken, it's for $10,000. You just get one estimate everywhere. But out here, you will get 5 estimates from 5 different technicians.
Okay.
With their star ratings from previous customers. So now you can decide on price point, and you can decide on, okay, this guy is doing it for 10,000, but he has a 3-star rating. This guy is doing for 12, but he has a 5-star rating. Right. So you know that you value those 2 stars more or 2,000. You can make an informed decision. So you don't need to shop around anymore. So all of this is happening right at your fingertips. We also have an app which is unique. By downloading this app, you can test your phone. Right, it runs 51 hardware tests on your phone.
Okay.
Right. So it's already live on iOS. You can download it, right? So you can run tests on your phone, and it will give you a complete health check. It will tell you what is working, what is not working.
Okay.
Right there, and give you a complete report of that in real time. That comes in handy if you want to get your phone repaired, if you've just got it repaired, if you want to sell or buy a second-hand phone, anything of that sort.
Yeah, I think this should really solve that problem that, whenever somebody is about to opt for a refurbished phone or maybe a second-hand, as they say. So in that case, me just in, search of a great review from somebody who tells me, no, this is good, ekdam badhiya hai sab. Let the app do the stuff. Let the app transparently let you know what is the status of that particular gadget. So I think that's a phenomenal stuff, I should say.
Thank you. So that is a USP. That's definitely a USP point for us.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to package it beautifully to the customers and promote it big time. The idea being that at the end, if you are a user who wants to sell a phone, right, you don't want to go to 5 different vendors and try to find out who is giving me the best value.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Before that, you can run this test and you would know that, okay, this is the true value that is coming out.
Yeah.
That's it. Now you know that, and then you can go make your decision, whom you want to sell it to. That's still totally your call. We are not saying that if you run the app, you have to sell it to us. You can still sell it wherever you want to. Run the app and you know that what's its worth, right? Yeah. And then you can do whatever you want to do.
So that is exactly, I think it will solve problem of a lot of people, I must say, whoever is interested in the second-hand phones, refurbished ones,
right?
They use the app, they understand about the status of the app and the phone, and then they themselves decide. So you're actually democratizing in such a way that eventually the power is in the buyer's hand, and let the buyer decide based on the status of the phone. That's good. So moving ahead, if you don't have on this one, then let's move ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So because I have a very interesting question, the next one. So how have you and your team has actually cultivated the right mindset, to deliver whatever you guys are delivering at the moment, and particularly if I say the promise of, providing a good state refurbished gadgets to the customers. So how have you cultivated the right mindset?
So few things. One which almost every entrepreneur would say, I read a lot. Everyone would say that. I write a lot, right? I have notepads everywhere, right? But the most important part is I keep the basics from the experience I had with companies like Dell, Microsoft. These companies have taught a lot of very valuable lessons, right? They have their basics right. We're trying to imbibe those basics. We're not trying to, steer away from the basics. Okay, keeping the quality being paramount. Okay, quality and customer service being the two things which are paramount. Right, we have a more than 80% customer return rate, right? And that in itself, is quite an accolade to me, because that talks a lot about the customer service that we are carrying, right?
Right.
Irrespective of that, irrespective that you're buying something which is worth 10,000 or 90,000, that doesn't matter. You're still you're a customer, and if you're buying refurbished, that does not mean it has to be broken and you have to compromise on quality. That's not necessary.
True.
You can buy refurbished and it could still be up to quality, right? And we could support that with our service, which is the most important part eventually. With any device, it's at the end of it, it's an electronic device, so there might be some issues here and there every now and then. But if we stand true to our words, right? So that is one thing that we are trying to imbibe, that we'll stand true to our words. If you're saying that, this is the warranty, this is what we are doing, this is what we are delivering you, that's about it. So we will only commit what we can do. We'll not make false promises. That's the one thing I would say is at the core of the whole team. And everyone follows that. They take that very seriously.
That is absolutely fantastic to hear, and I'm quite sure that the people who are watching this episode, they'll be like, okay, we can really, rely on Gadgets Guru, keeping in mind the set of standards, the high standards they have set. And that's really good to know. So how the use of electronic gadgets, like we have a lot nowadays, has affected your personal as well as your professional life? I'm quite sure about the professional life. You have a business now with the same, but how it has really changed your personal life as well, if you'd like to enlighten.
So, like I initially mentioned, so I introduced to computers in 8th, right? I ripped it open. That's the kind of person I came up. I would work on it and try to type codes on it and play on it for hours on it, all night, and then not be able to go to school the next morning. Right? My mom would have to push me to school the next morning, and I've done that on days on end. I've done that. So gadgets, yes, I like, from every aspect. It has changed the life for me, and it will change the life for everyone, I would say, because now we are going into the era of IoT, right? We are going into the whole new realm of gadgets, which we have not yet experienced, right? We are innovating new stuff, completely new stuff, right? So that is an average household. If you have 3 people living there, you have about 10 gadgets, right? That's the average. So the ratio of gadgets, it has outnumbered the number of people, be it in a house or maybe perhaps on planet Earth, right? So that has definitely changed the lives of everyone. It has democratized a lot of things. Learning is so much easier now than it was, right? If you say anything before 2005, 2004, right? You can sit here and learn from somebody in MIT or UC Berkeley or anything of that sort, which was absolutely impossible. 10 years ago, right? So it has impacted the life of everyone. Like, for example, I'm sitting here in Delhi, you're in Pune, and we're talking face to face.
Yeah,
it's all with the help of gadgets.
Absolutely.
So I am a die-hard fan of them. I like to experiment with gadgets. I like to do absolutely weird experiments with gadgets, or rip them open and do stuff like that. And that's why it is almost like you're turning your passion into work kind of thing. So working on gadgets comes very naturally.
That's really good to know, and see what it has led to. Like, you have a fantastic company, great people working along, and then there is a social cause associated with it as well. It has done wonders for you particularly, I must say.
Well, I've been blessed with a good team, I say. I would say that. They're very, very passionate set of people.
Yeah.
Okay. And they take their work very seriously, and they take their clients very seriously, which is absolutely great. And yeah, that's what keeps the ball rolling. Yeah.
Good to know. So moving ahead, how do you and your team really believes that, you will leave your impression on others that can sustain value as well? Because this business, I must say that no doubt there are a lot of people who may be into some or other way associated with, but how you really want to make sure that it sustain value?
So that's where value and sustainability is at the core. That's where our circular economy comes into play, right? So for let me give you a very simple example. I have a corporate client who exclusively works on Mac laptops. Right, they're a graphic designing company. They exclusively work on Mac laptops, and these are good laptops that they work with. Right. Now, once every so often they have to upgrade their laptops because they need the latest tech, right? But this old laptop that came out of there, it could either end up in the open market and go from store to store and end up in somebody's hands.
Yeah.
It will end up in somebody's hand if it is working laptop, right? It would end up in somebody's hand, that's for sure. But the value addition to that particular client would be much smaller because it's going in the gray market. Right?
Yeah.
So, right. So how we are doing it is that, the next time this client needs a new laptop, he will then be discarding one. We will offset the value right there for him, right? So it's easier on his pocket. We will push it forward to the next customer who is already waiting for such a laptop, right? And there is a total value chain there that one device can then be used by multiple people. Like for example, if I were to give an example, although this may sound a little weird as an example for when it comes to gadgets, but if you remember, our moms and grandmothers all had family heirlooms.
Yeah.
So, ek sone ka kada, right? And that kada will go from the grandmother to the mother and to the next generation to the next generation. It will keep working, right? Because and the more it goes, it's still gathering value, and then it has that emotional connect as well, right?
True that.
It has that emotional connect as well. So if that gadget or if that device can be salvaged than being thrown into garbage, right? If it can add more value, if we can give it more life, that would add immense value, and most importantly, it would reduce our need for imports, and it would reduce our e-waste, which are two very big problems that we are facing.
Absolutely.
That the world is facing, not just India, right?
True that.
So these two are very major problems that we are facing. So the more we are able to repurpose and recycle, the less we need to import, right? So that's
I should say that, I should say that women watching this episode, now one more reason why you should be opting for, refurbished one, because your mothers, your grandmothers have already been doing the similar stuff. So absolutely in different contexts, but the gist is still the same. So, moving ahead, and if I talk about something quite personal, and I think, this will enlighten a lot of people too. So, what do you wish your younger self knew about your current role? So the role which you are currently playing, as a founder, as a, I should say, the man who is taking the lead ahead. So your younger Prateek, what he should be knowing about you, the current one?
So this is, I'm sort of a serial entrepreneur. This is my third startup.
Okay.
Right? So my younger self, the first thing I would want him to know is that the first few miles you have to walk it alone, right? You have to walk it, and it's going to be those are going to be the toughest miles, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to walk it alone, and it's only at a certain point when you have actually overcome the toughest of the obstacles already, is when others will start joining hands with you, joining forces with you, and then the journey will become easier, so on and so forth, right? And it will become more lucrative and everything. But in the initial days, you will have to walk it alone. That's one. And and you'll have to keep faith. You have to have faith in yourself. You need to have faith in your idea and your principles, right? That's very, very important. These are the things that I have learned it in the first couple of startups that I did. I wish I knew this 10 years ago. The journey would have been much more faster, I suppose.
That's good to know. So I should be saying, hey, younger Prateek, now do you know this? Now you know this at least. You have to follow it accordingly. So taking this conversation forward, what is that one thing which your industry players should start doing? And what's the one thing which they should really stop doing? So if you can enlighten on that front as well.
So IT as an industry, it's completely unorganized sector. Okay,
right.
there are big players who are selling computers and laptops and devices and mobile phones, and everybody is saying, Samsung is saying I'm the best, Apple is saying I'm the best, and so on and so forth. Not to take brand names, but just like that. Just as an example. Yeah. So everybody is saying that I'm the best. At the end, what you're doing is that you're throwing 5x the amount of devices that are actually needed by, right? And in the end, you are creating that much more confusion for the end user, because trust me on this one that, even if we take a user at the age of, let's say, 25, 26-year-old who was born with mobile phones, I can bet you that 80% of them still don't know what is the difference between mobile phone X and mobile phone Y.
Absolutely.
They go by the look.
Yeah.
They go by the look and the feel of it and the gut feel of it, or the brand name that attracts them, right? Or the marketing campaign that was been done, right? So if we could have something more modular, more sustainable, right? Then that would be much more easier on our planet, and it would be so much. And it would be easier on our pockets too, because there are devices which are extremely overpriced, to be honest, right? Which extremely overpriced just for because of the perceived value, right? And we could actually largely bring that down and make it more democratized for everybody. So that's the one thing that I would. That's one, and there are a lot of people who and players who would like to cut corners, right? Especially in the refurbished segment, not just in the brand new. The OEMs take care of everything. They're impeccable devices,
right?
But in the refurbished section, there are a lot of people who would like to cut corners in a lot of things. They compromise on quality based, to make an extra profit. That's something that, in the end, you're burning a customer. You're burning a client. That client would never come back to you.
True that.
Because he would take that hit, but he would never come back. And that is where we take the pride that we have a more than 80% of return rate. So it's only the customer who probably does not need another system has not come back to us yet. So that's about it. Which is, these are the two things that I would like that the industry evolves out of, actually.
That is really good to know. And how do you look at success, personally, obviously, and then for your company as well? So, and let's say whatever way it may come, we always have to be so sure about coin has both the sides. So if a failure happens, which you have said that you have already started a couple of inches earlier too. So on the failure side as well, if you can enlighten a bit about what are your thoughts?
So success to me is when you are not talking about yourself, or you're not talking about the platform. There's other people who are talking about it. So that's success. That's definitely success. Then you're doing something right that there are other people are talking about. Otherwise, that's just not going to happen, right? Failure, that's I take it as learning per se, right? It hits you hard, right? That's true. At times it will hit you harder than you imagine it to be. That it's just work, but no. As an entrepreneur, you get very attached to your ventures. It becomes like a baby. When something goes wrong over there, it really hits you emotionally as well. But failures, I would say that I take it with a pinch of salt. I think it through and go through if I have made some mistakes, if there have been any errors on my part, and make sure that you don't repeat such a mistake ever again in your life. So that's the best thing you can do. and move forward. Then, dust yourself off and move forward then.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. You should not be crying about failure. Learn it and move ahead. And someone has said so. I feel like that is one of the best piece of advice I've ever got. It's like, don't learn from your failures. You actually learn from others' failure, because you do not really have time to learn from your own failures as well in the current scenario. Absolutely. And the way market is actually leading. So that is quite fantastic to hear. So what do you see as a future of your own company, let's say in next 3 to 5 years?
So 3 to 5 years, I would want, and I would foresee that Gadget Guruz enabling a circular economy system in electronics pan India, right? We're able to do that. We already have reached quite a few places, but we're small as of now. We would want it to have an impact on the market, wherein we are able to create that much value for the end user. We are able to reduce the need, reduce the expenses for everyone, create a lot of jobs.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Right, and help a lot of children with studies. These are the things which are very, very important to me. We already have another CSR which we didn't mention. So there's another CSR with the Indian Army. We are setting up a training center to help the youth of Jammu and Kashmir and places like that to learn stuff and become technicians and actually get jobs. So
that's fantastic to hear. Actually, a lot of people will really appreciate this, because in that particular region, there is a lot such activities which are need to be done. And if Gadgets Guru gonna be a part of such, so it's phenomenal, man.
Thank you. So these are initiatives that we're looking forward to, and going forward, 5 years down the line, I'll be very happy that if somebody faces a problem, it's just instinctive that if your phone is broken, it's just instinctive that just call Gadget. That would be the goal.
So and for sure, 3 years, 5 years down the line, we're gonna have another same interview on similar front, and then I'll be like, you have already achieved what you told me back then. Now what? Yeah. So looking forward to that as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. My second last question here would be, your piece of advice or your suggestion for budding entrepreneurs, to toil day and night of hustle and to see themselves more successful, than even through they sail the hustle and then they grow ahead. So what would be your piece of advice, your suggestion to people who are, or maybe who are in the same industry, different industries, doesn't matter, and people who are actually thinking to start something of their own? Your take on that.
So, people who are already doing it, if they're doing it already for a couple of years, they would have already experienced it. But those are the ones who are actually thinking about it, right? So don't do it if you're thinking about that. If you're pissed off with your boss, if you're pissed off with your job, don't do it. Don't get into entrepreneurship. That's not the answer, right? If you're thinking that I will pick, so I'll take a cricket example, because cricket is very famous in India, of course. So it's not going to happen that you'll pick up the bat one fine morning and that they'll say, okay, come lead the Indian team into World Cup final. That's not going to happen.
True that.
You'll have to play gully cricket. You'll have to break your bones, right? You'll have to play net. You'll have to play in your school and college, and you'll have to pay your dues. So that's paying dues. It's just not going to happen. So if you're thinking that, okay, I'll come up with an idea and come tomorrow, investors will be all over me, everything, right? That's not going to happen. So have a reality check. Don't think of blue skies, right? And write your small goals down. That's very, very important, is what I feel. I don't own a TV. I have 3 whiteboards in my house. Right? So I write everything down, everything. So, so write your small goals down and check them off every time you achieve something. Give yourself small perks as well. Give yourself a coffee or a chocolate or whatever you want to give yourself some rewards, right? When you do that, but keep in mind that it's not a sprint; it's a marathon, and it's a very difficult. It's a difficult marathon. It's an uphill marathon, right? And once you reach that endpoint, then it's beautiful.
And enlighten me if I'm wrong in this, but I feel like it's a marathon, and the marathon doesn't end. Actually, it never ends.
Absolutely.
Even if you are Reliance, look at where exactly and what all areas they are into now. You talk about Tata's,
Absolutely.
you see that, and you see us, Pharoscion, Gadgets Guru, so for us as well, there is a long road ahead, and for them as well, there is a long road ahead. So I feel like it never ends.
Absolutely.
Eventually, it is indeed a marathon. It's never a sprint all about.
Exactly. So that's where I see that, uh, when it comes to startups, they say that 99% of startups fail.
Yeah.
I feel that it's more about the mindset than the idea, right? A lot of people come up with brilliant ideas. It's all about the execution and your mindset.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared yourself mentally that, this I'm gonna do this, right? Otherwise, you'll give up on it. So, and one part that I've seen quite often, especially in the past 2 years, is that, people switching from jobs to entrepreneurship just because of the reason that, I've, I'm done. I'm enough. I've had enough of bosses on. That is a very wrong approach, I would say.
Absolutely.
Because this is going to be so much more difficult than that. That's still much easier.
And
sure
moreover,
you can relate to this.
Moreover, yeah, absolutely. And I was coming to that only. And Prateek, we know that so many jobs which you don't want to do or like to do while you are actually working for somebody else, you realize that you have to do all those things all alone yourself. So accordingly, one should really buckle up that, it's not gonna be, I'll not do this, let somebody else do that. In entrepreneurship, it is your job, that is your job, and every other job you can think of is your job as well. So that's so true.
Absolutely. You bang on that one. Yep.
Cool. So my very last question, Prateek, for this episode will be like, companies likes of ours, Pharoscion Global, yeah. What do you feel about Pharoscion Global, who is into digital transformation, and like we are helping a lot of local businesses as well. So your take on that, and what would you like to say about your association as well? Pharoscion Global associating with Gadgets Guru in some or other way. Is there any possibility? Can I let my Pharoscions know about this as well?
Definitely. So first of all, very unique name. I said that to you when we met face to face.
Yeah. Thanks for
that. Very intelligent and unique name. I like the drive right behind it. It shows how deep you went to actually, when you were founding this company. Your thought process must have been for hours on end or days on end to come up with the name alone, right? So it kind of represents what you're trying to show, right? What the company is going to be about. So that's great. I've seen glimpses of your team's work, so that's fantastic already. I'm a fan already.
I will convey the same to all Pharoscions, yeah.
So yeah, with Gadget Gurus, definitely, we're with you for sure. We look forward that, we promote our cause, use your skills. Your team has fantastic skills. Let's just use those and promote the cause as far and wide as we can.
Absolutely. That is wonderful to know. And I must say, it's all team's effort, whatever and however we have achieved so far. Looking forward to associate as well. And, to help all the businesses around India and across the globe, to grow further. And we say that let's serve the globe, but the Indian way. Yeah. And we are really happy to actually have you and looking forward for more such. So that, to everybody, out there, that is really all for this particular episode. We have Prateek with us, and, he has talked about a lot of good stuff, which should help you in order to decide when and how you're going to proceed with your venture. He talked about, how his venture is different from others, the social responsibilities they are carrying, and absolutely how this is actually helping in circular economy too. So that is from my side as well for this episode. Looking forward for next one, and I wish everybody a great success and looking forward for many more such episodes. Thank you again. Thank you, man.
Power to you, man. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Yes.